Decimal Classification, DDC, 19th edition. We have discussed that it is in 3 different volumes, and we know that volume 1 is Introduction and Tables, volume 2 is the Schedules, and volume 3 is Relative Index. So since we have discussed the structure of all these 3 volumes, now we know what is there in these 3 volumes. We have also discussed that while classifying, we should first of all see what is the subject of the book that we are classifying. Once we are sure about the subject, then we should try to find what discipline does it belong to. And that step, once it is over, then we have to go to the summary of DDC, and in the summary we would first of all see the 10 main classes. You would remember it is 000 and 100, 200, 300 up to 900. So these 10 we have remembered by heart now. So the moment we are able to decide the discipline of the book, we should know which of these 10 divisions it belongs to. And out of these 10 divisions, we have to further place this book into one of those 100 further divisions that are there, which are there in the second summary. These are all available in volume 1 of DDC. And after that, we have to go to the 1000 sections. So it's a very systematically arranged scheme of classification. I would again repeat, as I have done it earlier, that we need not to just go on flipping the pages of the scheme of classification to find the class number. We have to do in this very systematic way. So we are able to now know the discipline. Now we have also seen where does this belong to within the 100 and 1000 subdivisions that are there. These are called, the first 10 are called main classes, the next 100 are called divisions, and next 1000 are called sections. So now we are quite sure about all these. You know, when we are classifying a book, this is the main focus of that book. But then there are other aspects also that are available, that are there while we would like to map the subject of the book into notation. And these are not less important, but they are auxiliary in nature because they do not really represent the main subject of the book, but they represent the subject in the context of its scope, its contextualization, its limitations. Therefore, it may also depict the format of the book. So these certain things that are there, these are to be added. Notation for these aspects are to be added by the use of tables. Of all these tables, we will be discussing table 1 today, which is called standard subdivisions. This table is different from the rest of the tables. You all know there are 7 tables in DDC, and the table 1, as I was telling you, standard subdivisions is different from the rest of the 6 tables because table 1 can be added whenever there is a requirement of the addition of that notation without any instructions being given in the DB decimal classification. I would repeat again that when we would require to make use of notations in table 1, if the subject of the book so demands, we can add that notation from table 1 even if DDC does not instruct us to use that table 1. Yes, so it's clear now. Now, we have also seen that table 1 has divisions like starting with a hyphen, 01, 02, 03, 04, up to 09. So there is a hyphen before all these subdivisions in table 1. This hyphen indicates that whenever we want to make use of table 1, these notations are to be added to the number that already exists. That means these are added to the main number that represents the subject of the book. So these are added towards the right, towards the end. So now it is clear. We will take up examples to show how it is done. So let us start with the example Encyclopedia of Library Science. So as I was telling you, you know the subject is Encyclopedia of Library Science. What is that discipline? It's very easy. Yes, you are right. It is library science. So the discipline of this book is library science. Now you find that the number for library science is 020. We have all seen that from the schedules. Now there is another aspect, that is encyclopedia. It is a particular form of document. And as I was telling you, this also has to be added, and it is available in table 1. If you go and open table 1 in volume 1 of the DDC, you will find there is a notation with -03, and this is the notation that stands for encyclopedia. And while you are assigning this number, you would see that within library information science under 020, they have indicated some of this notation from table 1, and they are using table 1 without the initial 0. 0 to 0.1 philosophy, like that they have indicated there. Therefore, while we add the number 03 here, we will add without the 0, and the number becomes 0 to 0.3. So this represents Encyclopedia of Library Science. I hope it is clear to you. Now let us move to the next title, Dictionary of Microbiology. Now again, very simple title. The subject is Dictionary of Microbiology. The discipline is microbiology. And as the title indicates, it belongs to biology, and within biology, the number for microbiology is 576. And you have to add the number for dictionary also. Right now, in the previous title, we have seen from table 1, the number for encyclopedia is 03, and you would have noticed that the same notation is to be given for dictionary also. You can again go back to table 1 and see that the number for dictionary is 03. And therefore, we can add this number to microbiology, and it becomes 576.03, and it indicates Dictionary of Microbiology. So I hope you have understood well. Let us go to the next title, Philosophy of Public Administration. I repeat, Philosophy of Public Administration. Now, the subject is the same as I mentioned, Philosophy of Public Administration. The discipline here is Public Administration. Now, while we find the notation or number for public administration, we should think public administration is a part of social sciences, that is 300. And within 300, if you go to the summaries, you will find the number for public administration is 350. So it's simple, we have assigned the notation for public administration. But our subject is Philosophy of Public Administration. Again, we have to go to table 1 to assign the notation for philosophy. And when we go there, we find the number for philosophy is 01 with a hyphen. That means it has to be added to the main number. But then they say use within, when you see public administration schedule in volume 2, there is an instruction given there. They say use 3 zeros, 350.001 to 009 for standard subdivisions. So it is an indication that when we make use of notation from table 1, we have to add 3 zeros. We have to make use of not 1 but 3 zeros. Therefore, the number becomes 350.0001 because the instruction says so. You might be wondering, don't be confused that why here 3 zeros, why at times 1 0, why at times no 0 at all. Actually, DDC has a very simple notation, Indo-Arabic numerals. It doesn't use any other notation. but it makes use of zeros judiciously so as to represent the concept. So with the same simple notation, it makes use of number of zeros. It may be 1 0, 2 0, 3 0, more than 3 zeros, or even without any zero to indicate concepts. So we have to just blindly follow what DDC asks us to follow. Let us move to the next title. It is Study and Teaching of Psychology. Now, the subject, as we have mentioned, is the same, study and teaching of psychology, and we have seen here the discipline is psychology. As I have been telling you, we should be sure first of all of the discipline. So now let us go to the volume 2 of DDC. Before going to volume 2, you can check from the summary also in volume 1. What is the notation for psychology? And you will find that it has been given under 100. And if you move down further in 100, you will come down to 150. That is psychology. So you have now assigned the number for psychology. It is 150. But now we have to assign the number for study and teaching also. And for that you have to go to table 1. And in table 1, you will see that -07 denotes study and teaching. Therefore, you have to make use of -07, and hyphen means you have to add this 07 to a number already existing. And in our case, the number already existing is 150. So we have to add this number 07 to 150. But before adding, we have to check the schedules, how it is to be added. And you will find that the schedule directs us to add this number without the zero, without the initial zero. Therefore, our number becomes 150.7. We have not used the initial zero because DDC has instructed us not to use that. DDC, in the schedule, there is an instruction under psychology. Therefore, we just give the class number 150.7. So 150.7 represents study and teaching of psychology. So let us move further. The next title is Research in Agriculture. You would be noticing that in all these titles that I have been giving you, you find there is a component besides the discipline, and that component is something which could be found in any of the disciplines. You can find research in any discipline. It happens in every discipline. So it could be research in agriculture, it could be research in chemistry, it could be research in political science, it could be research in economics, it could be research in history. So research is common in all these subjects. That is why it has been given in table 1. And it has been given once, and you can use it anytime, anywhere, in any of the disciplines. So when we see the summary and we find that agriculture has been given under technology, it is applied science. So, and for that number is the divisions, the main class is 600 onwards. And within that you will find 610 is medicine, 620 is engineering. And when you reach 630, you find that represents agriculture. So 630 is agriculture. Now it's very clear. Now we have to add the number for research. And for research, we have to go to table 1. And you find within table 1, you start moving from 01, which is philosophy and theory, 02, 03, and so on. You find 05 is periodical, serials, 06 organizations, and 07 is study and teaching. We have already used that. And within that, 072 indicates research. So we have to make use of this 072. But before adding this 072, we have to check 630 agriculture. And when we find it there, that we have to make use of this 072 without the beginning 0. Because it has been so indicated in this schedule at agriculture at 630. Therefore, we will also not use the initial 0, and the number becomes 630.72. 630.72 indicates research in agriculture. Please don't get confused. The only difference in these numbers is that these are to be used either with their zero or without their zero or with some additional zeros. And we are not to take any decision in this regard. It is DDC that instructs us that if we have to make use of additional zeros or no zeros. If there is no such instruction, then we will make use of 1 zero only. So had there been no instruction in agriculture, then the number would have become 630.072. But since we have been instructed there at agriculture that we have not to use this zero, therefore we have assigned the number 630.72. Now let us move to the next number, and the next number is journals of management. You know, journal means it is also called a periodical, it is also called a serial. So any of these terms that are there, these are all equivalent, and the subject is journals of management. Discipline is management. So management, you might be wondering where it is. You go to the summaries again, and it is not in social sciences. It has been given in applied sciences because it is an application. Therefore, they have placed here management in applied sciences, and you see the summary of applied sciences, you will find that 650 has been the number that has been given for management and its management sciences. And when you go further down in 650, you will find that the number for management specifically is 658. So 658 is the number for management. Now let us find out the number for journals or periodicals or serials. As I was telling you, all denote the same concept. And when we go to table 1 again, we find that 05 with a hyphen denotes serials. So we can make use of this 05. But again, I would like to caution you that we have to check at 658 that whether we have to use it as 05 or something else. You will find that there is an instruction there that when we make use of table 1, we have to use 2 zeros instead of the 1 zero. Therefore, the number becomes 658.005. So I again repeat that the process is that first of all, the subject, we have to find out the discipline. For finding out the discipline, we have to check the summaries. Once we are sure about the discipline, we have to go to the second summary, which indicates the divisions, and then to the third summary if it is so required. And the other part, we have to find the notation from table 1. And thus, while assigning the notation, we have to check the schedules where we are assigning. If there is any instruction regarding use of table 1, how many zeros have to be used, we have to check that. Now let us go to the next title, library associations. We know that in library information science profession, there are professional associations. So this book discusses the associations in library and information science. And by now, you would have been quite sure that the number for library and information science is 020. You may again check the number and you will be now sure, yes, it is 020. Now we have to find out the number for associations. And when we go to table 1, we'll find the number for associations is 06. And it has been further expanded also into different types of associations. And our number is 06. Now before assigning the number, again, we will check the schedule at 020 and we will find that they have used table 1 in 020 without the initial 0. So they have mentioned there the number 020.1 as philosophy and theory of library science. Therefore, similarly, our number for library associations will become 020.6. So you are right, your number is correct. Let us move to the next title, History of Botany. Now, history is you are very sure and very correct that history is the number that we have to find from table 1. But before that, we should know what is the discipline. It is botany, and we have to check the number for botany from the summary, and we find that the number for botanical sciences is 580. And when we go to botanical sciences, we are led to the number 581, which is for botany. So we are correct up to this point. We have assigned 581 for botany. Let us find out the number for history. And history not in the main divisions, not in the main classes. It is here used as a secondary aspect of botany. And because there is a number for history in the main schedules also, that is the main subject history. It is the discipline history. But here we are not talking of history as a discipline. We are talking the history of a particular discipline. And for that, in table 1, you find the number for history is 09. Therefore, when we add this number to botany, the number becomes 581.09. But before finalizing this number, we have to go to the schedules at botany and find how they have made use of table 1. We find that we are correct. We are to use 10, and therefore our number is 581.09. Let us come to the next title, non-verbal communication in outdoor sports. You all often find that in sports, we make use of gestures, we make use of signs. So this book discusses those non-verbal communication. So here the discipline is outdoor sports, and again you may have to take a little time, think over where have they placed outdoor sports, and you will find that they have placed outdoor sports with art and outdoor sports. They are placed together in the main 700 class, and within 700 class you find 790 has been the place for sports, and within 790 you find the number for outdoor sports is 796. So this is the number for outdoor sports. Now we have to assign the number for non-verbal communication. We go to table 1 and we find the number for non-verbal communication is 0147. You would find here they have explained also use of signs, symbols, and they have given some more examples there. Therefore, the number, we have to again go to the schedules, whether we have to use this 0 or more zeros or less 0. You will find we have to make use of 10. Therefore, the number is 796.0147. So you are right. Your number is correct. Now you are quite confident. We can do some more titles also, so that gives you still more confidence. This is the title where you say directory is part of the title. Directory of libraries. Now again, library science, very clear. Directory you will find in table 1. And library science we all know is 020. And when you go to table 1, you find the number for directory is 025. And we have already done a title in library information science, and we recollect from there that we are not to use the first 0 in 025. So we have to use without 0, and the number becomes 020.25, directory of libraries. Next title is divisions of science. Here divisions means what are the different parts of science, how science has been divided further into its further subfields. So it's a sort of a mapping of science. So science, we all know, very simple, that when you go to the main schedules, the main 10 schedules, you'll find the number for science is 500. And now you have to find the number for divisions, and that you find in table 1. It has been given there as 012. But then how to add that? We go to sciences and we find the number for philosophy of science has been given as 501. Therefore, we are not to use the first 0, and the number for divisions in sciences becomes 501.2. Postulates of library classification. You all have studied library classification, and you would remember that postulates of library classification has been given by Ranganathan. And when you go to this library information science schedule, you'll find classification has been given as 0 to 5.42. And for postulates, you again go to table 1, you find the number for postulates has been given as 018. Therefore, the number becomes 025.42018. We have used here the 0 because now we are applying table 1 not to library science in general, but to classification. Okay, and there is no such indication not to use this 0. Next title is Psychological Principles in Medicine. You all know that in medicine, psychology occupies a very important place. And when we go to medicine, we see that it is very clearly given as 610. And for psychological principles, you go to table 1, you will find it is given as 019. And when we come back to medicine, we find that we have to use table 1 without the first 0. Therefore, the number becomes 610.19. This is psychological principles in medicine. Let us see the next title. Manual of a television. You all know that electronic gadgets come with their manuals. And this notation for manual has been given in table 1. But television, it comes under engineering, and within engineering, you will find that the number is 621.388. And for manual, you go to table 1, you find the number for manual is 0202. But you have to come back to 621.388, and you find there is a mention there that for table 1, we have to make use of 2 zeros. Therefore, the number becomes 621.388.00202. Let us see the next title, Log Tables. We have all made use of log tables in our practicals in sciences. And for that, the number is for logarithm. The number has been given in mathematics as 512.922. And for tables, again come back to table 1, and you find the number is 0212. And we come back to logarithm. There we can use the table 1 as such. Therefore, the number becomes 512.9220212. Let us see the next title, Cookery, a talking book. It discusses cookery, and it is a sound book. It shows you, it demonstrates. So the number of cookery is 641, and is talking book number you find from table 1 is 0208. Therefore, the number becomes 641.0208. So these are the titles which really tell us how to make use of table 1. And I would advise you all that you should try to make use of table 1 as much as possible, and you will get that confidence. The only decision that you have to take is, while assigning notation, is that we should be very sure about the zeros that we have to make use of, and that you come to know from wherever you are classifying. The exact number where you are classifying, you should check from there, and you come to know what final class number will be assigned. So we now have seen that table 1 provides notation for auxiliary aspects in a subject. The main subject has to be found out using the 3 summaries, and further going down into the specific section, finding the exact class number for that subject. And the auxiliary aspect, you will be able to identify. The more titles you do, the more sure you are. These are auxiliary concept, means these discuss the philosophy or theory of a subject, form of a subject, format of that, whether the book is in pictures, sound, or it is graphs, or it is images, or it is discussing a secondary aspect like history of the subject, or it is a dictionary or encyclopedia of the subject, it's a periodical of the subject, it is study and teaching of the subject. All these aspects denote the auxiliary aspects which have been given in table 1. So the more titles you do, the more confidence you get.